this morning, I, your host Mafia, will show you today Symphony of the Night. Now, I normally don't do guides, but I played this game often enough as a kid, and I have to say, it was one of the better pieces of Konami's Castlevania series. Where it is now, well, not that great. I do enjoy the fact that this Castlevania Requiem game isn't a remastered or recreation. It literally, if you look at the dates of each model, is pretty much the extra game and the Rondo of Blood game stripped from Dracula X Castlevania on the PSP. Even the background and some of the icons are used from the original PSP. It just seems pretty much that Konami took the two hypest games of their retro series, put them in a package, remade them for modern systems. You know, it just shows you that Konami really tries to cash cow on their older materials and not consider the fans' feelings about some of this stuff. But, you know, regardless, hey, it's Castlevania. It's Symphony of the Night. It's Rondo of Blood, aka Dracula X. How can you go wrong? Well, for those who've never played a Castlevania game, this is a wonderful time to give this game a shout. Combine side-scrolling with some RPG qualities. Can't go wrong. Well, without further commentary, I'm going to give you a brief tutorial and walkthrough of Symphony of the Night. Fun times. And beyond the oceans, there lay a castle. A castle that belonged to the devil himself. The fanged beast that flies and changes to mist. The legendary creature known as Dracula. You, Richter Belmont, shall ascend his evil castle and put him to rest once more. By your bloodline, it is your duty. So once again, welcome to Castlevania. Alright, the prologue, Fighting Dracula. Some useful tips. Up there, interesting switch. Unlocks a hidden area where you can find some additional power-ups to increase your success in this battle. As you notice, Richter has 0 rest, which means you have 1 life. 1 life and you're already tossed into a boss battle. Alrighty. Now, the significance of picking up these items does increase some of your stats in the following game. You can't pick them up, well, you can pick them up multiple times, but you won't change the end result. Now, a brief tutorial about Richter's moves. If you hold the attack button square, he'll hold his chain out, and you can use the D-pad or the analog to give him 360 movement of his chain. useful. If you press down and up real quickly, followed with X, you can do a flying uppercut. From up, if you roll all the way back, from up to forward, and press the attack, he will do a unique attack that does a lot of damage. You can do it in the air or on the ground, but it is very useful. Now, you can sit around and farm for hearts, fill up that meter to 99, but the most important part is, once you get into this battle sequence, try not to take damage. Alucard's stats will actually change depending on how much health you have. And there is an alternate cutscene if you take too much damage, but I'll let you guys figure that one out. Here we go.
Die now and leave this world. You'll never belong here.
Oh, but this world invited me. Your own kind called me forth with praise and tribute.
Tribute? You're a thief. You steal men's souls, their freedom.
Freedom is always sacrificed to faith, good hunter. Or are you truly here by choice?
All I'm here for is you. To hell with your heresy! You're nothing but a blight on mankind.
Ha! Mankind. A cesspit of hatred and lies. Fight for them then, and die for their sins!
Not exactly the ability I wanted, but hey. Aim for the head.
Feel true power!
You can also backflip by pressing X multiple times in the air. Oops.
Feel true power! Feel true power!
Oops. Now you can fight, or since you have the holy water, just Hydra Storm them. You want to get through this stuff quickly. Go for the fireballs. Oh, and I got hit. Bad me. Bad.
Impossible! Not this time!
Count Dracula had risen with the aid of the Dark Priest Shaft to menace humanity once again. The legendary vampire hunter, Richter Belmont, stood against him and at last brought him down. However, 4 years later, on a glaring full moon night, Richter mysteriously vanished. Maria Renard set out to find him, but knew not where to begin. It was then that fate intervened. Castlevania, the Castle of Dracula, rumored to appear once every century, suddenly materialized from the mist, as if to show her the way. Meanwhile, powerful forces struggled for the soul of a man named Alucard. he who had once fought alongside Trevor Belmont against his own immortal father, Count Dracula himself. To purge the world of his own cursed bloodline, Alucard had submerged his vampiric powers and fallen into what was meant to be eternal slumber. But now, he awakens to the cackles of evil and cries of the innocent. The eternal battle of good and evil has come full circle once more. Dracula's castle beckons for you. And no man can say who will emerge victorious.
Alright, here we go. Introduction scene. Alucard, the son of Dracula. Plays a little different than a Belmont. No whip, but he does possess a sword. Few key pointers I'm going to share with you folks. Now, some of these will help you enjoy the game. Some of these will help you speedrun the game. Your choice. I leave it up to you. Music starts. Now, if you sit and fight the zombies, they'll eventually drop an item called Cloth Tunic. Useful for starting the game. Remember, it's an RPG. As you can see, I pointed out that it is an RPG. There are stats to this game. You can pick up items and change your equipment. Monsters you kill do give you experience, and you can find gold laying around the castle. The importance is killing monsters, items, and experience. Just know if you kill a weak enough monster and gain high enough level, those monsters will be pretty weak and they'll only offer you 1 XP at some point, which encourages you to move further through the castle. This next room's pretty useful. So if it's your first time and you want to go right through it, by all means continue right. Here's a little tip. Breaking this little wall gives you your first health item. Kinda useful. Break through that wall, keep going right, it'll take you to the next room. But before you do that, here's a few options. Down below are some mermen. Now if you press down to up to forward in a quick rotation and press either square or O, you'll learn your first spell. With this ability, if the monster bleeds, you can gain its life. I suggest farming these creatures for about 15 minutes, at least till you're level 8. I say this because it will make adventuring through the beginning of the castle a little easier, not so difficult. As there's no real difficulty and no warning of monsters' strength or danger, sometimes you'll come across a monster that's way too powerful for you and will either one-shot you, which will give you a lot of frustration. So, I always advise, give the area a little test. If you do too little of damage, don't sit there and fight it, unless you really got the guts to. Now they start hoarding around you, it gets a little annoying. So if you press left, right, up, down, in quick succession, and then press O or square afterwards, you get... Failing at it, but you get to summon a little spirit. Useful for one enemy, or a big enemy. If you have enough mana, which is that little blue bar up there, if you hold up for 2 seconds and then roll from up to forward to down and press O, Tetris Spirit summons 4 spirits. Very useful against a mob of enemies or beating up one single enemy. Another spell Alucard can cast, just like dear old dad, Dracula. You press up, down to forward in quick section and press square or O, you get Fireball. Now, it was never mentioned in the actual game, but if you hold up after he's performing that technique, he can throw dear old daddy's fireballs, which do a lot more damage. Now, the only problem with that, it is much slower. So if the enemy's pretty quick, it won't do very well for you. Now you have a few spells under your hand, which makes farming these guys a little easier. Now, another thing they don't teach you is that most weapons that you acquire, even shields, have a special ability. With this current one, you have Alucard's sword. If you press down and forward, and his attack button, he will teleport and slash from the side of the screen you're facing. Useful for enemies who are either large or too far for you to reach. Now I know this part's a little boring, farming, but I'm not going to farm for too long. There we go. These creatures do drop these items called Monster Vial 1. Now, these can be useful if you have quite a few of them, as they'll summon a merman to help you for a short duration. Definitely good at boss fights, or if you're having trouble with that one monster that just doesn't want to go down. So, farming here, you also pick up $25 and $50 bags. Money is used to buy equipment and other things in Castlevania. So doing this does benefit newer players, but if you're intending to speedrun, not gonna help you. Water is not good for you. Them levels are coming, aren't they? That's because these guys are usually a lot stronger for you. A lot of people just bypass this part, but because you have the equipment currently on you, you can actually attack these guys and deal considerable damage and one-shot them. Makes leveling up a little quicker, a little easier. Alright folks, let's give a little break and see where we're at. Level 6. At this point, I highly recommend either get to level 7 or 8. Once you're around that level, things in the castle won't be as hard when you first start out. Sadly, if you go in too low, it will be a little frustrating to be knocked around a bit. But hey, I'm going to do this maybe till level 7 and we'll continue the video. So here you're just fast farming. The purple ones give the most XP, yellow the lowest, and red second best. Now the cool thing is, at the rate of how these guys are coming out, you're grabbing EXP pretty quickly. Sadly, you won't find many areas that offer this type of confrontation. So take advantage while you can. Ah, the faithful shield. Oops. Alrighty. Should be getting close to that next level. This part, like I said, is a bit boring, but if you have the patience to deal with it for a while, it is rewarding. Boom, there we go. Let's continue this video. Now you reach this segment of the game. No. Another secret. This section coming up right here. Boom. Wall turkey. Now, this next section, there's two options. One, as you enter this screen, if you quickly press triangle and back, you'll perform a cheat. What that is, I'm not going to tell you yet. But, if you're just going to cheat anyway, you're not going to really enjoy the game. So, I'm going to step through and show you this cutscene.
What is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Ever the insolent boy. But there will be no games here. If you will not behave, be gone.
I will do neither. Step aside, old man.
Such arrogance. Very well. But I shall see you very soon.
Yep. Death. Death incarnate. Just robbed me of my items. What made me once powerful, I am now helpless. No weapons, no armor, no cool stuff. However, I'm still level 7, and I still have my spells. Not a bad sort, don't you think? Now that I'm at least a decent level, I am not that squishy. Now you can enjoy the game with a little bit of an advantage. Now, normally you require an ability to do this, but I'm going to show you something. Oh, leap of faith. Ah. And your first power-up, a heart max. Increase them hearts. You'll need them. Whoops. Alright. Alucard is a jumping. Our first real enemy in our weakened state. He drops you in a weapon. Short sword. You now have a weapon to fight back with. Other than your hands. Red Rust. An interesting weapon. Two-handed. But there is a downside to it that is not mentioned. It's a rusty red sword. Ah, that there. It's a good, strong weapon, but the downside is the sword is rusty, so sometimes it gets stuck in the sheath. So I will stick to the short sword, because there are moments where that will jam up your attack, and next thing you know, you get whacked by a monster. Ah, your first artifact, the Cube of Zoe. With this item, every candle now drops items. Very useful. First save. Highly recommended. Because the next part's going to be fun. The slide back. What you're seeing up there is an archaic word. CD. Did you know video games used to be played on CDs? Not DVDs, not Blu-rays? Now if anybody remembers 8-tracks, you're old. Alchemy Laboratory. Ooh. Now see, you done hit me with 8 damage. That's why I said if you don't level up, it can be brutal. Ah, first armor. Now, like more modern games, this older game does not equip your weapon for you. Everything is manual. Welcome to the retro. And you never die. Now, there is a save here. Next step I'm going to show you is going to be interesting. Use the spells that I showed you. Mistimed. You can drop those pile of bones onto that switch. You can bring yourself up on that elevator and not even have to go through that whole process to go through that wall. I now have a much better weapon. Slightly less damage, but hey, you know what? I like the speed of it. Let's proceed with the shanking. Everything gets stabbed. Knife, knife, knife. Now we're getting equipment here. Like all standard RPGs, you get a brief run-in of how everything plays out. Low-level equipment. Alrighty. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to be interesting. There are secrets all over the castle. Sometimes you need a special item, an artifact, or something really unique to help you find these things. But hey, if it looks suspicious or you just want to break random walls, break them walls! Ooh, goody. More hearts. It's as if the castle was showing me love. Now, as you notice, I can't stab downward with that weapon. But with a sword I can. Be mindful, some weapons have limitations. The life up. Finding these are important. Because not does leveling only help you with your life, those will help a lot as well. They increase your max health by a little bit, but every bit counts. And your first sub item, the knife. Alright. I think we're getting the hang of this. Hope you folks are enjoying the show. Love sharing old school with anybody. Can you tell I play this game way too often? I know what you're thinking, Mafia. What are you doing? Well, trying to maximize survivability. Because the more equipment you have early on, the easier it is to increase your defenses and other stats. Because as I said, as you start out and you come in here, you're pretty squishy. Leveling up, getting the equipment, will help the start of your game pretty nicely. Proceed with the shanking. Now these little things drop spit. That spit is poison. Not our friend. And since we have nothing to heal poison, and we do not know where the save is, try not to get poisoned. Let's re-equip the Basilard. Ah, save. Conveniently lucky. Alrighty, let's continue. Axe or knife, always choices. I'm gonna stick with the axe this time. Alright folks, let's prepare for our first boss battle. We have equipment. We have 2 healing items, just in case. I have been forced in, trapped. I move forward, and I find enemies, boss characters. See how they've not attacked me yet? I'm gonna do them a favor. Remember, Tetris Spirit, up, forward, and down. Get a few extra hits before the start of the fight. Oh, watch out for that downward step. So the bird guy is going to keep trying to drop them on me. And spit fireballs. Ooh. Your shield can protect you from his shots. Oh, he didn't like that one. Can't protect yourself from the big fireballs. Alrighty. Bam! So as you see, leveling up and getting the right equipment made that boss fight tons of easy. Oh, he bleeds. Therefore, he's a snack. Oh, bad snack. Right. Well, folks, this was a brief introduction to Castlevania. I hope you enjoy. For now, this will be the end of the video. It's a brief tutorial to show you one of the games I enjoyed a lot in my youth. A few tips for those who do purchase the game so they can start off fairly well and enjoy the exploration of the castle. Well, folks, once more, love, peace, and chicken grease. And as always, stay safe this Halloween. Bye.